if I was talking to Donncha, I'd say, Donncha, before we even begin this conversation, tell me why your people deserve to talk to the CEO of your target market.
All right, so the second thing I've got for us today is a message from Donncha Lynch from Programmed. So he's the sales director, I think there. Thanks, Donnie. I hope you've got that right. So Donnie has come to our B2B meetups a few times, so he's got a familiar face, so he's pretty cool. And he said, Mark and Dean, how do you get in front of, I need to get my team in front of CEOs and C-level executives. How are we going to do that? So I'll put my hand up and go first. So let me draw on some experience that I used when I was head of sales for Earn, so that little startup, a couple of years ago, and that was exactly the type of target market that we were chasing down. The most effective thing for us by far was to really understand the business of the CEO that we were targeting, figure out how we were going to make a real impact and how that impacted their priorities. So we might look at their reports, or the things that they posted online, the conversations, the talks that they've given, podcasts, some of that sort of things that they've talked about. So they've somewhere publicly said, this is a real challenge. Staff retention is a real challenge for us. We're trying to build a strong culture. And then we would reach out and say, hey, based on what you've told us before, this product that we're talking about might be a good fit for you. We think there's an opportunity to have a chat. What's a great way for us to have, 5 minutes as an introductory conversation. And we found that was really powerful from a breakthrough point of view, and sometimes we got delegated down to HR, which is probably where we're going to land anyway.
Sometimes or most of the time?
Beg your pardon?
Sometimes or most of the time. How many CEOs actually got actively involved in talking about the nitty-gritty and the contractual arrangements and the logistics and everything else? How many?
No, very good.
None.
No, well, hang on. So, but we did go in at the top level, and then they said, this is something we wanted to do. So Dean's my HR guru. Talk to him, Dean. I want to get this on board. So,
correct.
So the
first, you're trying to sell the product to the CEO. You're trying to sell the concept of your product so that they give approval to the people that they've hired to do the analysis and make the decisions. I think selling to the CEO is BS in general. Like, the reality is most CEOs don't want to be bothered with this sort of crap. So if you go in with your standard sales procedure, you just want to get in front of the CEO because you think they're the decision maker. That's you. The CEO doesn't care about that. So
what are you saying? You're saying Donnie should shoot a bit lower on the tree and go for the veto, the very important top officer, for his thing.
I'm saying if he wants to get to the CEO, he better have a bloody compelling story for the CEO as to what he or she, as a CEO, will get out of talking to Donnie.
Right.
Because the simple reality is why do I get benefit out of talking to you when I've hired all these really good people, given the authority to do this stuff, and in fact, it's not my job to talk to you.
So we're making the assumption. So Donnie works for Program, so that's a staffing, an operations supplier. So we're assuming that the actual decision-making person for that purchase is at least one step below.
HR or along those lines, right?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if I'm a CEO, my question is, how are you going to improve my strategy? How are you going to improve my brand in the market? How are you going to help me avoid major risks that I as CEO care about and passionate about? Like, those are the sorts of things that are going through my head. How are you going to make my leadership team significantly more functional and effective? What do you know that I need to know as a CEO that I don't know currently? What are other CEOs doing and thinking? Now, that's the sort of stuff that might interest me as a CEO. But if your entire reason for wanting to be in front of CEOs is because we need to be talking to the decision maker, it's very self-centered.
It is. All right, I'll cop that. The other method that worked really well for us was just really digging deeply to find a referral in. So, find somebody that knew Dean Mannix and then say, hey, I know you know Dean. We've been working with businesses just like him, and I need to get a friendly foot in the door. Can you help me?
Yeah, it's relationships, right? So the bottom line is you've either got to create a relationship by inviting them along to an event that they would find highly valuable as a CEO, and or creating an event that they would find highly valuable as a CEO.
Yep.
And or you need to find a senior relationship that you can leverage into an introduction that will cause them to take the meeting for the reason of supporting the referrer.
Correct. So that strategy worked really, really well, and it was actually easier than what we thought. So when we started to look through our existing customers and people we were well advanced on, even though they hadn't become customers yet, we're able to leverage that the top officer that we're talking to and say, hey, I see, you've got some connection with X. And when I say connection, I'm not literally talking about LinkedIn. So they could be in the same sort of business chamber, or they might be in the same geographical location or the same industry. Do you know this person? Would you mind, helping me get in here? And a lot of the times they said yes. And that was an easy way for us to jump over some of those hurdles and come in as a referral. And I found that to be very, very successful. And I was surprised at how easy it was to implement once we figured out how to do that.
Yeah. And look, I think the simple reality is that for most people with what they're selling, they'd be far better off focusing on the person whose team and part of the business is most impacted by the solution that they sell.
Yeah.
And giving those people something that they can take to the CEO that will make them look smart and strategic and intelligent, and getting their support to gain the support of the CEO. For most people, I believe that's a far more productive and effective strategy. And I think that this whole selling to the CEO is this BS tagline that's been created by a bunch of sales trainers who've never sold to a CEO in their life, except maybe of a 5-person business. And no disrespect to that, because 5-people businesses are great. Yeah. But the bottom line is it's a BS construct.
Right. Okay. So there you go. I hope we've given Donnie some answers there.
I've signed multi-million-dollar training deals without ever speaking to a CEO, without ever meeting a CEO, without a CEO ever knowing about me.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if I try sales at Oracle and I want to put a $200 million software system, hardware system into your bank or your cannery company, yeah, for sure, the CEO probably wants to meet me.
Well, even then,
those companies are masters at creating amazing events, amazing networks, and amazing connections with CEOs, and that's how they get access. And when their people turn up, they deserve to talk to a CEO. Yeah. Like, that'd be my question. If I was talking to Donncha, I'd say, Donncha, before we even begin this conversation, tell me why your people deserve to talk to the CEO of your target market. And answer that question. That's probably going to answer a lot of the other questions.
Okay.
Anyway.
I think we've rolled that one around nicely. Okay.